Yo, Win Colin family, I'm back again. This time we're going to be breaking down the tape on Joe Mixon. This is a guy who was drafted in fantasy in the late first round to the early to mid second round, right? So this is a guy that we expected to go off this year. If you drafted him, you were thinking this is the year, this is the breakout year, this is a good back who gets the majority of his team's carries and touches are what you need to have the opportunity to score big time fantasy points, right? But so far, we're not getting that. So I'm going to help to try to figure out what the problem is. Should you maybe trade or move on from Joe Mixon in that sort of way? Is it time to maybe not look at him as an every week starter? We're going to try to figure that out together, right? Let's start by getting into why we're disappointed, right? So let's look at the numbers in 2019 compared to what Joe Mixon is on a pace for in 2020, okay? So look, in 2019, Joe Mixon ran the ball 278 times for 1,137 yards and 5 touchdowns. That's a 4.1 yard per carry average, right? He also added an additional 35 receptions, right, for 287 yards and 3 touchdowns. But the 2020 pace, though, 277 carries, 875 yards, 3.1 yards per carry, a full yard less than last year when we were saying the issue is his offensive line. Wow. Then we have 37 catches as his pace with 309 yards, a slight improvement of 2 catches as far as pace wise, and a few more yards, right? But his touchdown total is currently 0, which means that that's his pace for the year, which is just not good right now. So what is the problem? Why are we seeing the exact same amount of touches but less output, right? Well, let's do the process of elimination, and let's strike one thing out of consideration, okay? As we look at this play here, what we're going to strike out of consideration is that Joe Mixon can't play, that you drafted a back that you thought was really good and was capable of a breakout, and he just isn't because he can't play. But you just saw him break the ankles of Joey Bosa in the backfield and then totally take away the angle from Casey Hayward. No, Joe Mixon can play. Watch this. Going inside, bounces back out in one cut. That's explosiveness, right? Because some guys need to kind of hunker down and really, but watch Joe Mixon here. This is boom, boom. This is 1 foot in the ground, and I'm gone. You're done. You're done. And then he's going to take away the angle from Casey Hayward, who has the opportunity to make that play, and he's just not going to let him. This is on 1st and 10, and that's going to get me, 14 yards, I believe. That is a good run from a good player, a good back, So, no, you did not select a player that can't play, right? Let's look at a little bit more to continue to disprove that, even though we don't really have to, but I want to kind of give you guys something to say, okay, that's positive. That's something I can at least hope I see more often. Let's look at some more of those kind of plays as we continue to break down what's going on with Mixon in Cincinnati. Okay, so let's hop over to week 2 to show you something else, right? What do you need to be an elite NFL running back? It's a lot of things, right? One of the things in particular you must have is balance and strength to play through contact, right? Does Joe Mixon have that? He has it in spades, right? Take a look at this particular play. We're going to get penetration from the defensive lineman immediately, is able to spin out of it, get upfield, and fall forward through the tackles of the defenders. Yeah, they're kind of spinning them around, but that is strength. That is balance, right? To be able to take this contact, spin off of it, keep my balance, and head right back upfield, right? That is the kind of things that you need in the back if you think that you're going to get a breakout year. And that stuff is on tape, right? Now I'm showing you week 2 against Cleveland. So the thing is, I've looked at the tape. I've looked at a lot of plays. I'm going to show you guys a few. In the 3 games Joe Mixon has played so far, there are plays in every game that displays some of what is best about his game. So I showed you the elusiveness. We took a look at the contact balance of Joe Mixon, right? Well, how about if I scheme you up into the open field? Do you have the speed to be able to make a play, get me a first down? You know, of course, Joe Mixon has it. Is he the fastest guy at running back? No, definitely not. But if I give him a toss and I get him on the edge, linebackers have really no real chance, right? It's up to your corners and your safeties to make the play at that point. We are talking about an explosive guy. The defense even lines up to be able to get the numbers on that side. And what that is just Joe Mixon taking away those numbers by just being explosive and getting upfield. As you can see, there's 3 guys with the opportunity to make the tackle, one who's being blocked, and none of them are able to do it until Joe Mixon decides that it's okay by just kind of jumping out of bounds, right? So at the end of the day, everything is there, but what is missing? I'm going to show you guys part of what's missing that is contributing to why we aren't getting the big Joe Mixon year that we hope to have. And if I say Joe Burrow sometimes, just please bear with me. For some reason, the Joe Mixon and Joe Burrow thing has been hard for me as I've been recording this. But let's take a look at what we need more of and what we aren't getting enough of that's creating this poor Joe Mixon season so far. So there's 2 issues that are getting in the way of the Joe Mixon breakout. And number 1 is that when used in the passing game, he shows that it's clearly something that can be a strength of his, but the opportunities are not as prevalent as you would like them to be, right? Let's take a look at this play here, a designed screen for Joe Mixon, right? We're going to get the play action. Joe leaks out. We're going to get some blockers that do nothing. We're going to get a broken tackle. We're going to get a dead leg, and we're going to get almost a touchdown, right? I don't see why things like this aren't more prevalent in this offense, because I know that Gio Bernard is a good player, but this is something that Joe Mixon with the dead leg and the ability to kind of make guys miss. I just think that it's why can't we just get some more of this? In this particular game, Joe had 4 catches, right, for 40 yards. If we see that more, what we will get is a really good fantasy season, because look at this dead leg. Boom. 2 defenders miss, right? Is able to still fall forward and get you an opportunity to have to just need 1 yard to get that first down, right? Really good in the passing game. Soft hands, makes guys miss. We just need to see more of this kind of stuff. Okay, so we're still in week 2 versus Cleveland. I just showed you a nice catch on the screen. This is Joe Mixon's, right? This is his second passing reception, right? The next touch after the last one. Look at that route. Look how he beats the safety on that route to get up the field. That's first down. That's an 18-yard gain. Watch it from the end zone. Look at the route, right? We're gonna get that running back hook route. Boom, right? A little bit of a wiggle, right? Doesn't allow number 44 to know which way he's going. Gets that foot in the ground. Real easy throw for Joe Burrow to be able to make. Easy catch for Joe Mixon to make. Takes on the contact, right? Falls forward, 18 yards. Please tell me why I don't see more of this. Please, somebody help me to understand this. I know that Gio Bernard is a good player. I liked him coming out of college when I watched everything that I could get my hands on coming out of North Carolina. I'm like, wow, this is a really good player. I just struggle sometimes to understand some NFL's coaches their reliance, their reluctance to allow one player, one running back, to see these kind of looks, the passing down back. It's always been in the league, but now you find teams that find an excuse to pull a really, really talented starter off the field to bring in a guy that when he comes in, the defense knows that you're passing, right? I'm not going to show you guys a lot of Gio Bernard, right? Because this is about Joe Mixon. And like I said, I know that Gio Bernard is a good player, but he should be spelling Joe Mixon only because I have looked at it. He's not doing anything extremely special with the ball that you can't get out of the guy that you just paid really good money to. So this is a big part of why we aren't getting the breakout that we should. Now, I showed you based on projections of what he's doing so far in 2020, Joe Mixon will get 2 more catches than he did last year. But honestly, it should be 35 catches in 2019 to somewhere around 50 to 60 this year, especially for a team that's playing behind a lot. You have a guy that could keep defenses, right, off balance because they wouldn't know what's coming, when it's coming, because you don't know if the guy's going to run or pass. Instead, you bring him off the field to bring in a guy that almost every single time he's on the field, it is a passing play. But let's take a look at some more stuff so that we can continue to peel the layers off of this onion. Okay, so finally what we're going to do is we're going to look at some end zone angles of some of Joe Mixon's runs so that we can get an idea of one of the things that's really missing, right? And that's just enough space for him to run so that he can have a good season. Because at the end of the day, right, guys don't get to 4 yards per carry actually just running for 4 yards every time they get the ball. I mean, obviously, right? But the way that you end up on a pace for 3.1 yards per carry is when you can break a 9-yarder, you can break a 7-yarder, you can break a 6-yarder. I mean, his tape is full of 5-yard runs. I mean, but when that's about the best that you can do, once you also combine that with being met at the goal line for no gain and being met for negative yardage on other plays, in the first 3 weeks, he's had 3 runs each game where the defense meets him in the backfield and he loses yards, right? It only has taken those 3 runs, right, each game to affect his yards per carry because he's not breaking anything. And the reason that he's not breaking anything is that this line has not played like that horrible. But part of it is that even when they do play okay, right, nobody's ever getting to the second level. There's never really much of a place for Mixon to go if he is able to penetrate the first line of defense. And on a lot of times like this, there isn't anything. Look, he wants to cut back and Bosa is just like living in it, right? It's literally nowhere for him to run. And when you look at this guy on tape, he is so consistently creating his own 2, 3, 4-yard gains. It's just really hard to be able to have a big year if you're not able to break 10 yards or more, 20 yards here and there. 40, 50-yard runs do not happen that often. I just wish that I could see 10 yards, right? I wish that I could see 15 yards, but it's just not there. His long run so far this year, right, is 14 yards. 14 yards. I mean, at some point that's going to have to change if we're going to get a good year out of Joe Mixon. More catches and more space to run the ball. So look, when you're seeing this much penetration so often, right, this is what you get. Runs like this, right? Met in the backfield, almost immediately loses the ball, right? Let's look at it from this angle. I mean, guys are just guys on this defensive line, a great defensive line, you have to give the defense credit. Boom. Hit him right on the ball as he's trying to spin away from coverage, spin away from the tackle, and you get a fumble there. I mean, obviously you have to blame the running back for fumbles. At the end of the day, you can't give him an excuse. You have to say, I need you to carry that ball better. But it's when you're trying to do so much on your own, right? You're trying to spin off guys that are 1-2 yards in the backfield when you just got the ball. These are the kind of things that are hurting the Mixon breakout. Okay, and look, so our final look at things that just aren't going right for Joe Mixon. What about when I need just 1 yard to get into the end zone? Fellas, big uglies up front. I mean, it's not there. I mean, these guys don't really push people off the ball. They sometimes do create holes with that stretch zone scheme, right? But a lot of times, I mean, what you see more often than not is just so much penetration, right? And if I'm not mature enough for that. So at the end of the day, what you see is just too many guys being able to shoot through gaps and get right in Joe Mixon's face, right? And like I did say, like on some of the best runs that I saw from him through 3 weeks of watching every carry, right? There are some really great runs where this guy just makes person after person after person after person miss tackles. But at the end of the day, you look at the yards gained and it's 3 yards, it's 5 yards, it's 4 yards, right? And that simply is just the problem here, right? Okay, so look, as I give my final diagnosis, we're going to just run in the background some big plays from Joe Mixon throughout his career, just to make you guys just a little bit more sad that you're not seeing it now. But look, at the end of the day, what we're going to need to get the Joe Mixon breakout is we're going to need the Cincinnati line to play a little bit better, right? We're going to need the play calls to be a little bit more creative. Try to get Joe Mixon the ball in space, whether that's throwing to him or whether that's just creativity in the run game. So we need a little bit less Geo or maybe more Geo and Joe together. So at the end of the day, look, if you have somebody that you think that you can get a Joe Mixon trade going with, I would say at this point, I would say from the things I've seen on tape, go for it, because I don't know how optimistic I can be that this changes, because I'm seeing things that I think are part of what Cincy is right now, what they want to be. And I don't know if it helps Joe Mixon to have that breakout year. So I would really just say, if you can trade him, right? If you don't have to start him, sit him, and just go from there. Still a great player, not a great situation. So look, thank you for listening and being here with me, right? In the Black Abyss. I record these from space or something, you know what I mean? And I really do appreciate it. Like I say, do what your heart, follow your heart. If you like it, subscribe, if you like it, and if you don't, that's fine too. Send me a comment. Tell me how I could be better. Because I do respond to them and I like to see what you guys have to say. And finally, if you're wondering what a certain guy's looking like and you want me to break them down, let me know that, guys. And I'll take your suggestions and we'll start taking a look. So with that being said, I'm out.